Boston Bruins captain has revealed the truth about his ongoing contract negotiation with the Boston Bruins after Elliotte Friedman reported that the two parties are close on a brand new extension in the first intermission of last night's game. And after the game, Brad Marchand spoke out about it, declined to comment further on anything, that just saying it was not close, and nothing has been revealed yet. So we're going to be talking about what this contract reveals and what it's going to mean going forward for Brad Marchand and the Boston Bruins. And also going to be taking a look at what a contract could look like for Brad Marchand further, now that we know a bit more after Brad Marchand spoke out about this. Now, before we get into all of this news here, we know 70% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're looking for a spot to get all of your Boston Bruins news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button, and we're almost at 5K. And if we can hit that before Halloween, that would be absolutely amazing. I appreciate all your support in recent videos. It's been absolutely incredible. But without any further ado, let's get into our first topic here of the day, which is, of course, the Marchand contract negotiation, which has been revealed courtesy of Brad Marchand at this point, but normally, or originally, I guess we could say, from Elliotte Friedman. So this is what Elliotte Friedman had to say in the intermission of yesterday's game. He had this to say: "The word is that Bruins and Marchand are getting closer on an extension, expected to be 3 years. We'll see what happens in the next little while, but the word is that they're getting closer." So that's a little refresher for those about who didn't know or didn't hear or didn't see what Elliotte Friedman had to say, and then going on to what we've seen Brad Marchand say. I do have the video clip of what Marchand had to say after the game, so I'll let you have a look at this, listen to it, and also pull up again what he said afterwards as we can break that down.
Elliotte Friedman reported that you're close to an extension. Any comment?
Elliotte likes talking about me this week, eh? Yeah, I mean, I mentioned this before. I'm not big about talking about contract stuff in the media. I'm not going to do it, but I mean, that report from Elliotte is false. But I am not going to talk about my contract stuff in the media, because if I was signed a 3-year extension, he signed, you know, it just clearly Elliotte is just wrong there. So that's about it.
Guys, pasta's available.
Now, Brad Marchand really just kind of called out Elliotte Friedman here on the topic and saying that it's just completely false. And that's what I spoke about in last night's video when we first heard this immediately after the game. Because I thought that, you know, we were probably going to see some more from Elliotte Friedman today, and ultimately we haven't. So we're going to look at now what we're kind of seeing with this. Elliotte Friedman also talking about him and Jim Montgomery, the whole situation that went down. Elliotte Friedman saying that it was a bit of a shocking situation, a bit of a weird circumstance, and, you know, he'll have his opinion on that. Brad Marchand came out and spoke about that afterwards, but going on to say that Elliotte Friedman loves talking about him recently really seems to be the case, in all honesty. But the way we're looking at it as well is that the upcoming contract is certainly going to have a big impact on the future of the Bruins. A 3-year deal is what was reported, and I would say that's what we're going to be looking at. A 2 to 3 year deal, of course, and Marchand may be close to a contract. We will never know because he don't like to discuss that in the media. Done the same with Jeremy Swayman when he was asked about it. So we're not going to hear any hints at all from Brad Marchand unless we get something from an outside source or a mold within, I guess you could say. But going into this whole Brad Marchand situation and the whole contract negotiation, this is a big one for the Bruins. They have to figure this out, I would say, sooner rather than later. Even though Brad Marchand really hasn't been up to his level as of late, well, excluding the overtime goal in last night's game against the Toronto Maple Leafs, he still is a leader on this team. Everybody on this team, everybody in the fan base absolutely loves him and wants him to stay with this team. And I think that will be no surprise to anybody here. And looking at Brad Marchand, this is what he said. We've had plenty of discussions with, this comes from Elliotte Friedman, Don Sweeney. We've had plenty of discussions with Brad's camp in terms of trying to find a landing spot there. Bruins general manager Don Sweeney said on September 30th, before the start of the season, "We're as proactive as we can be within the parameters of the league, the CBA, of when we can talk to players." And that's what he had at the start of the season, revealing that there were talks. There are talks, and they're not, without a doubt, still ongoing at this point, up to right now, that Brad Marchand is still in discussion to become an extension candidate for this team. Whether they're close or not, as I mentioned, we won't know. We won't actually see until things are done. But the fact that Don Sweeney has been doing this for so long reveals that we are closer than what it may seem like. Than probably what Brad Marchand's kind of leading on after responding to Elliotte Friedman in that fashion. And we're kind of looking at a short-term extension, knowing that Brad Marchand at the age he is isn't going to be in the NHL for too much longer, unfortunately, just because of, you know, the normal retiring age. He's been shown slight signs of slowing down, not as much as many other players, but the age catches up to you quick, especially in a very physical game like hockey. So we're kind of looking now as well at the Boston Bruins kind of future and cap space over the next few seasons. And I'll pull this screenshot up here of who we have as free agents. Obviously, Brad Marchand is the real one right now that is going to be signed, number one priority of this list. And there will be more, whether it's not or all of them. We're uncertain at this point, but Brad Marchand is going to be on this team for at least, I would say, 3 more years. And whether that is a 3-year deal that they're in discussion about, whether it's a 2, whether it's a 1, Brad Marchand also declined to comment on the term. That will likely be his final contract as a player with the Boston Bruins. And moving on to the cap space here, the cap projections, I guess we could say, looking at the next few seasons. As we can see this year, the projection cap space is $1.18 million. That's quite about what we have around right now with Riley Tufte being sent down. Likely that cap will be allocated to Tyler Johnson if he does end up getting signed to the Boston Bruins, if he's choosing to stay with the Boston Bruins, as he's been here for quite a while after his PTO, sticking around, staying with the team, knowing that at some point a contract will likely be given to him. But after that, we have 18.3, 27.9, and 36.7. And knowing that Brad Marchand's contract right now is a pay cut at about 6.2, 6.3, whatever it is. I'm not sure the exact number on the button, but that's quite an underpay for Brad Marchand and a very, very good contract that we have to be happy with. And a lot of people were kind of throwing around the number on Twitter about $7 million. And a lot of people were also not very fond of that number, thinking that the way he's playing right now, also the age he's going to be when that contract expiring, that might be a bad contract compared to what we're seeing now with this $6 million contract. And I agree. I think it's going to be a little bit less. I would also consider seeing a 4 to 5, although Brad Marchand does certainly deserve that good payday in his career, especially now how much he's done for the Boston Bruins. It really don't look like it's going to be coming to that. And that's what I mentioned in last night's video, is that it could be an option, but looking more and more at it, and as we kind of progress into the Brad Marchand era, or the end of the Brad Marchand era, that contract seems a bit steep for what the Bruins are going to be working with. And obviously, the Bruins are in a kind of a rebuild-ish, a retool, if you will, heading towards the playoffs still, and still being very competitive. So it's not ultimately like it's going to be a full rebuild or whatnot. So the Bruins are going to want to keep some cap space over these few seasons to continue to add some players in free agency, as they did this year with Nikita Zadorov, Elias Lindholm, and many, many other smaller but still very impactful names. And that's not going to slow down anytime soon. And I think that's really why we're seeing this Brad Marchand contract take quite a bit longer. I think the Bruins are trying to get this down as low as they possibly can without being disrespectful, because obviously you're not going to go out as the Tampa Bay Lightning did and just not pay your captain. That's really a bad situation that ultimately you don't want to do, especially for certain players and Brad Marchand, what he's done for this team and what Stamkos has done for Tampa. Ultimately, that situation, we don't want to end up like that in Boston, and that's not going to be the case, as Brad Marchand recently was promoted to captain, of course, with the retirement of Patrice Bergeron. The way he's been playing, his demeanor on this team, his leadership roles, everything that he still brings to his Boston Bruins team will be impactful over the upcoming however many more years he is in the NHL, whether it be 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, whatever it is, he still will have such an impactful voice in this locker room, on the ice, on the bench, wherever he is at the time. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of the road the Bruins decide to take. Also, if Brad Marchand's kind of asking price gets revealed at any point, I think that will be something that we want to look at as well. That will be a very sneaky thing that the Bruins are going to have to kind of manipulate to make sure that they still have room for some of these other guys, especially this upcoming free agency, that are going to be available. And they really don't want to make a mistake on an overpayment for any type of contract for Brad Marchand, even though he is your captain, and most times you will overpay for one of those. But let me know what you think. Do you think we're going to see Brad Marchand on a 3 or 4 year deal, or do you think we're going to see him for 1 or 2? And what price do you want to see Brad Marchand on? I think that's the biggest question here in this video, in the whole kind of saga of this event. What is going to be the price for Brad Marchand, and how long is he going to be here? Let me know what you think. But that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button. And if you're here still at this point in the video, be sure to hit the sub button if you haven't already. Got a lot more Bruins news coming for you. But that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button. I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.